Marvel reveals MCU Phase 4 slate at Comic-Con. That is the headline on this week's MBE Heroes.
And Stephen, the way we are going to be doing this show today is essentially utilising the Den of Geek article around the whole Slate 4 announcement by essentially going through it sequentially in terms of release dates, not the way they were announced at the actual panel at Hall H itself. So obviously the first movie it's going to be coming out is
Black Widow, John. It's going to be released on the 1st of May 2020. This is probably the one that's been most talked about, obviously, because it is going to be the first film that's released in Phase 4.
Yes.
Obviously starring Scarlett Johansson, and obviously it is going to be a prequel.
It is, Stephen. It's also going to be starring David Harbour, who obviously came on at the Hall H panel. And he just dropped a slight little subtle bomb, I want to call it, where he was discussing with the girl who was doing the pilot. She was hosting the panel.
Yeah.
And there's a word for that, but I can never remember it. She essentially asked him, he was wearing a Captain America t-shirt, what his thoughts were on Captain America as a character. Was it his favourite? And he says, I have very conflicting thoughts on Captain America, as you will discover later on. So that got me thinking. I've subsequently read an article. Apparently he will be playing the Russian equivalent to Captain America. The chap's name is, if I can find it, I can't see it on me right now. Yeah. But essentially it's the Russian equivalent anyway. I'll find it in a second. So it's all very intriguing how this is going to play in. It's Red Guardian is the name of the character. And just the cast in general, Stephen, Florence Pugh, we were both discussing it before we came on. She really is carving out a fantastic career for herself. She's appeared in Midsummer. She was in that Fighting With My Family movie with Dwayne Johnson. She's been in Outlaw King as well, as you did say. Just a fantastic young actress, up and coming. I think she's playing Natasha Romanoff's sister in it, is that right?
Oh, a sister figure, John,
Sister figure, and Rachel Weisz as well.
Yeah, what cast,
Black,
I think it is, John, and it's Kate Shortland, I think, is directing this film as well. So this is the one that was most talked about, as I said. So this is probably the one at that point I was most looking forward to. And
they actually announced it quite late in the actual panel.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I think probably because most people knew it was coming anyway. But I'm looking forward to that. 1st of May 2020, under a year to go before we see that film anyway. We knew that it was obviously in production from those dodgy videos we saw a few months ago.
Kevin Feige mentioned they were filming in London and flew overnight, so it wasn't Norway. So was that indeed Scarlett Johansson in that video in Norway shopping for fish and drink? I don't think so. But Stephen, we shall move on.
Yeah, we'll move on, John, to a film that's going to be released. Oh, sorry, not a film. Television series is going to be released in autumn 2020. This is, of course, another no-brainer. It's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. First of all, John, that logo is something else, isn't it?
Absolutely tremendous logo, Stephen. As a person who has designed many a logo in the past, I'm very envious of that. It's so cool, it's so sleek, compartmentalised. And it's wonderful. I cannot wait to see this TV show, Stephen. They brought Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan onto the stage, and you had them bickering and just showing you the great playful chemistry these two guys have with each other. And you'll see that continuing on into the actual show. I just cannot wait to see what they get up to going forward. Obviously, it's set after the events of Endgame.
Yeah, Daniel Brühl's Zemo's in it as well. This was a surprise, because we obviously knew that Mackie and Stan were going to be appearing in this television series, but we didn't know who was going to be the antagonist. We do know now, and it's good to see that they're utilising antagonists that they've already utilised in the MCU films. Daniel Brühl, first came across him in Inglourious Bastards, I think it was, John.
He was,
he's a great actor, so why not utilise him?
And he was in Civil War, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I don't think he was suited and booted as the actual character.
No, I don't think he was, John, as I recall. But I think he was locked up at the end of that film as well. So
I'm looking. Mackie.
Yeah, I know.
He says we've beaten him once, we'll beat him again.
Yeah.
When asked, was he concerned about facing off against him? So I think that speaks volumes really about the confidence of these two guys when they get together. Magic happens. I cannot wait, Stephen. I hope we get to see it. Yeah. And that we finally get Disney Plus over here, because we haven't got it scheduled yet.
This is the thing, John. There's a lot of, I think there's 3, isn't there? 3 or 4.
There's a fair few.
To kick off. So I hope that we don't miss out on that. But we'll move on, John, to the first introduction to new heroes in Phase 4. This is, of course, the Eternals, and they're scheduled for a 6th of November 2020 release, which I was quite surprised about, because we're only talking about 15 months away. So this is the one that I've heard so much about, don't know too much about, but what a cast as well, John. Richard Madden's back in there, Angelina Jolie's in there, the likes of Salma Hayek's in there as well.
Kumail Nanjiani, we were just speaking about him the other day.
Yeah. So apart from the cast, John, I don't know too much about these characters and their purpose other than being defenders of the earth.
Yeah, Stephen, I've been doing a little bit of digging because I'm not incredibly clued up on the characters either. I know Icarus, played by Richard Madden. He's one of the primary figures. I think he comes down to earth, certainly in one of the runs anyway. Essentially checks where it's worthy of continuing on, also supporting life. And when he realises it is, he calls all of the other Eternals down. I think Angelina Jolie's Fina character, or Fena, is the sort of a leader figure of the Eternals, a sort of a motherish figure, I want to say. I may be wrong. It may, in actual fact, be the Salma Hayek character. It's one of those two anyway. I just watched it the other day and I've already forgotten which one could be the leader. Salma Hayek done a speech, so I'm more inclined to say it may be her actually. Looking back, talking about how she was looking forward to playing this powerful female figure, and how it was once again showing young girls and whatnot growing up watching these characters on the TV shows, on the theatre screens. There's people like them out there and they're represented and they're feeling empowered, so she may be the leader figure. I'm not clued up, as I did say, but I cannot wait to see it, Stephen. It's the first jaunt into the out and out cosmic sort of a side of this phase that I think we're going to see a very heavy cosmic sort of a story throughout much of the Phase 4. We will see it with the likes of, obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, 4, which we'll get into later. But the cast, as you did say, is absolutely superb. Kumail Nanjiani, he's playing Kingo. He was utilising his usual humour. And even in there, you've got the likes of Brian Tyree Henry and Don Lee as well as Gilgamesh. I think he's in the ferry, sort of a forgotten one. He goes away and then he comes back. He's a slightly bad apple. I don't know yet whether they've confirmed. I think they have confirmed that their evil counterparts, the Deviants will be popping up. But from what I've heard, they're not actually out and out villains. They're slightly complicated. They end up having a pact with them. They're uglier than them, they said. But Stephen, the vibes I get...
Anti-heroes, the
vibes I get, it's pretty much like 4 and 4-1. They think they're above humans. In a sense, they withdraw themselves from humanity, oversee them, but then they slowly start to mingle and obviously grow attached and whatnot. So it's going to be a great story. I cannot wait to see it. What a cast. Angelina Jolie as well in there.
Fantastic. Absolutely amazing, John. But we'll move on to the next release. It's for the 12th of February 2021. There's quite a lot happening in that year. And it's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is probably my favourite title out of all the announcements, John. We've talked about... we talked about it last week actually on Heroes in regards to them casting a Chinese actor.
It's not winning.
No, it's not. But obviously the casting was only made days prior to Comic-Con as well, which they did say would happen. But this film, this is the one I'm looking forward to this for other reasons, because we're getting to see another superhero or a hero. Similar to the likes of Black Widow, similar to Hawkeye, where they don't have these cosmic powers, but it's basically they're very skilled, beings. So I'm looking forward to this one as well, John. 12th of February 2021, which kind of expected because we knew that obviously the announcement of the lead role wasn't going to be announced till last weekend. So a lot to do before that release.
Yeah, Stephen, I'm really looking forward to it. And once again, one of the key themes I took out of this actual panel as a whole was just the sort of a diversification of the cast members, the crew members, directors and whatnot. This is something that Kevin Feige and Disney Marvel have really been trying to achieve for a number of years, even getting back into Phase 3, 2 and 1 of the MCU. They've worked hard at making the cast representative of the modern day world and also trying their best to give up and coming directors a chance. The likes of Taika Waititi, I mean, I don't want to say he was up and coming. He did have a couple of movies under his belt, but certainly wasn't an out and out established director by any means. And they like Jon Favreau. I don't think when he done Iron Man, he had done many movies as a director. He'd perhaps done a few, I may be wrong. But they try to work their way in. We've seen it with the aforementioned Eternals as well. Female director. We've seen it with Black Widow, another female director. Here we have a Chinese. I want to say he's Asian. I don't know if he is Chinese. He says he grew up in Hawaii. I'm going to take that back right away. Or Maui, I think it was, he says.
Yeah.
But certainly of Asian descendancy. It's great to see they're going down the diversity route again. They're giving people a chance. We spoke about this before, Stephen, with Creed 2. Obviously, Michael B. Jordan speaking about how he wanted the guy, I think it was Stephen Cable Jr., to come in because he understood the character and the trials and tribulations of what they had to go through better than anybody. So to see this director, whose name eludes me at the moment, it's Destin Daniel Cretton coming in. Very humble chap. He was slightly nervous on the stage, but he really did give me positive vibes that he understands the character, the story, he's well invested in the comics. I cannot wait to see this movie, Stephen. Tony Leung, didn't know much about him. Very confident and chirpy guy, as you did say. Only found out that he was getting casted on Tuesday prior to Comic-Con itself. So he was caught in a whirlwind of emotions. We're going to get the real Mandarin as well, who's going to be getting played by, I forget the bloody name, I'm having a mare. It's not on the actual article. But we're getting the real Mandarin. And just the bombshell that Feige dropped as well with a little collage of images or video footage from various different movies, that this 10 Ring organisation, secretive organisation, had been influencing events throughout many MCU movies, back to Iron Man 1, I think 2, 3, seen them in a shot from Ant-Man as well, so they've been hovering around in the shadows, and now this is perhaps going to come to a head here. The Mandarin, apparently the real one, not impressed by the events of Iron Man 3, he's going to pop up, so cannot wait, as you did say, purely because it's a martial artist with no real superpowers. I love Bruce Lee and all of those martial arts movies, so if we get this implemented into the MCU in the right way, happy days. Yeah,
it's good to see that there's kind of links to the past movies as well, John. That's what I like about Marvel and MCU. It's all about the detail. But we'll move on to the next two releases, which are going to be on Disney Plus. First of all, WandaVision. It's a straightforward name, I suppose, for these two characters. The most surprising thing about this one is it's going to be set after Endgame. Paul Bettany, I think, is a little confused by this. I think it says here in the article he admitted that he doesn't know what's going on with his character. Basically, you're being resurrected, Paul, in your character.
If
this title's got anything to do with it, I always liked Vision anyway, and I think he suffered the most in Infinity War as well at the very end. I think he died about 3-4 times. I can't remember what it was.
I think it was twice.
It was very painful, but I'm looking forward to this television series because I do like Scarlet Witch. I think Elizabeth Olsen plays her well too. It's going to be good to see something like this, something fresh as well. It's going to be tied into another film which we'll obviously talk about in a little while. So what's your thoughts on this, John, this television series? Is this something that interests you enough to dedicate your time to? I don't know how many episodes it's going to be.
Stephen, I've watched multiple episodes of this, multiple seasons. Every single TV show that's hitting Disney Plus. As soon as I can subscribe to Disney Plus, I'll be there and I'll be watching every single one. I'm well on board. Wasn't really invested in Scarlet Witch character when she first popped up, and I believe it was Age of Ultron with obviously her twin, I think it was, Quicksilver. Wasn't really invested, but as she's grown as a character in subsequent releases, I've found myself connecting more and more. She's an incredibly powerful character. Really like this relationship between her and Vision. Obviously Paul Bettany, a guy I've been following since Back to Gangster #1, I think it was. Really good actor. Really like him as a person. Dead humble and down to earth chap. Loved his get up in this panel as well. Such a clean and a well-dressed guy, and as I did say, I don't care how they explain it. Personally, I think it's Shuri from obviously Black Panther. T'Challa, I think his name is. I always want to say T'Chaka, but that was his father, T'Challa. Also Black Panther himself, his sister, incredible mind. She was working on Vision for a very long time at the end of Infinity War, and it felt like it was all for nothing and it had been flung out of the window. I think I definitely feel like they will utilise that 10-minute scene where it was race against time. She was working, rerouting these neurons. I think this will explain why he comes back. Cannot wait to see the...
It wouldn't surprise me, you know, just through the sheer detail of these characters and the stories and how they're all interconnected. Talking about interconnected, John, we're getting to see a grown-up version of Monica Rambeau, who's going to be played by Teyonah Parris, I think it is, from If Beale Street Could Talk. Last time we saw this character, she was a kid in the 90s set, Captain Marvel.
Is that the young girl who was the daughter of, obviously, Carol Danvers' best friend?
I think it was, John.
That's very cool.
So
very cool.
I mean, obviously they set these things out very early on to link up. But this is the thing that I love about the MCU, that they take these little things, might just be a very small character appearance in one of the films, and it's in there for a purpose. It's not just obviously set dressing. But we'll move on to the next television series that's coming out in spring 2021. It's been released around about the same time as obviously WandaVision is Loki. Now, we knew this was a given after we saw Loki appear in Endgame with the Tesseract escapes, and we knew that character was being resurrected in this fashion off in another dimension. You can't have someone like Tom Hiddleston and waste his talents on such a great character. You know, you think of Loki, you think of Tom Hiddleston. Think of Tom Hiddleston, you think of Loki. This was the perfect way to set up this television series. That scene, obviously in Endgame, where he jumps through the portal, and we knew it was coming. I think you and I, when we were sitting in the theatre watching Endgame, and we saw that scene and the way he just hops out of the dimension, we knew that's what it's been set up with. Yeah,
the God of Mischief utilised that moment of confusion beautifully to just nick in, get the Tesseract and disappear in a puff of smoke. One of my favourite characters, Stephen, from the MCU. I just love the character in general. The way he developed going forward. Obviously, we're now back to square one because this is the Loki from Avengers Assemble, the original Avengers movie. So he's still very much this nefarious figure with brother issues, daddy issues, just issues in general.
That was when he was best.
That's when he was best, and we're getting right back. And Tom Hiddleston actually confirmed that in the panel as well when he was questioned about it. The fact that he is back to square one, he's still got to go through some psychological, physical developing. Obviously, the last time we see him prior to that slipping off in Endgame, he's been just absolutely destroyed by the Hulk. So he's not going to be a happy chappy at the beginning of this TV show, but I'm absolutely excited to see where he goes and what adventures he's going to be getting up to. Apparently, Kevin Feige allowed him into some of the secrets and direction of the character, and he's very much excited. He says it's one of the most exciting creative opportunities I've come across. So anything that allows Tom Hiddleston to come back, another very well mannered and intelligent chap, I'm well on board for it, Stephen. I cannot wait. Hopefully we'll see some of the other figures like Thor popping in and out, and
you never know.
Get some jaunts with those two.
I hope so, John. But listen, we'll move on to the final one in this part one of MBE Heroes this week. It's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, this has been penciled in for 7th of May 2021. Obviously, this is going to be the second outing for Stephen Strange. This is probably the one I'm most looking forward to. It's just an interesting little piece of information on the tail end of the article here in regards to this film is that co-star Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch will obviously be making an appearance, and it will tie into WandaVision, as I said earlier, on the streaming show. I think this is going to confirm we're going to be very cosmic here, John, with these two characters. These characters are obviously, this is their purpose and this is their phase, as I like to think. What do you think of that, John? What do you think of? Where do you think we're going to go with this character? Where do you think we're going to see Stephen Strange go? Is he going to be on Earth, or is he going to be out there?
No.
Performing his.
I think he's going to be
tricks.
here, there, and everywhere. Stephen, probably other than Earth.
That's the multiverse of madness, to be fair.
I think he's going to be all over the place. Scott Derrickson, who is directing the movie, big fan of the original Strange character in the comic run. Really liked what he says about the character's direction, the fact that he was such an interesting character because he could go through all these different verses and he was such a powerful chap. He's essentially saying this is going to be a horror movie. It's going to be the first scary movie in the MCU, so cannot wait to see him teaming up with the suitably powered Scarlet Witch, see what adventures they go off on, different verses and different God knows what we're going to be seeing, monsters. Really have to read these comics, Stephen, to become more clued up on the potential storylines and avenues they can begin down. I have read on the Doctor Strange character. He was incredibly powerful, if I can speak. In the early editions of the character, he was subsequently neutered again and again and again until he was not so powerful. He was one of the most powerful chaps in the original comics. But I can't wait to see the direction they go off. I love the character. I love Benedict Cumberbatch.
I love the original movie.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite MCU movies, Stephen, Doctor Strange. Just the combination of him and this crazy cape and all the other things around.
Yeah, up to this point, John, this is the only MCU film I've watched in 3D.
Yeah.
And it was such a spectacle, such an experience as well. I'm hoping for more of the same for this second instalment for the character, because one of the things that are, probably the most important thing about this this character and his films is the spectacle. Benedict Cumberbatch is just suited to this role so well. He plays it so well. He's came a long way since obviously, that first maybe 30-40 minutes in the first movie where he was just arrogant. Yeah, it was just it was just an absolute unlikable chap if you're not into that kind of thing. But I'm looking forward to it. I think obviously bringing Elizabeth Olsen in as well was quite a clever thing to do because.
Did they have any interactions previous to that?
I don't think so. No, it's going to be. That was one of the things I was going to ask.
Will we see Benedict Wong as well coming back?
I hope so. I think we will. I think we will, John, because it was. You don't. When you think of obviously Doctor Strange the movie, it's not just Benedict Cumberbatch you do think of. It's obviously that character as well and the actor. But I'm looking forward to it because Elizabeth Olsen's going to be in it as well, and I think it's important that the characters that are getting utilised in the television series are making appearances in the films as well, just to tie in things. It was always the bugbear of mine with the Netflix series was that they were separate, and that kind of annoyed me because there was potential there. The quality was there, certainly for the Daredevil character. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. It's good to see that they're coming in and out of television and the movie, formats.
Steve, I think that just once again confirms this change in direction, the change in landscape of Hollywood, where we are seeing more and more big movie stars going into TV as a medium, and just the fact that we're going between big blockbuster releases and TV shows on the streaming service, showing you that they're integrating and they're going back and forth.
You saw that with the likes of Anthony Mackie, the excitement for these television series. They know that they're big budget television series. They're not. It's not the old days where television was second class. These are getting money thrown at them just as much as
I'll be very intrigued, Stephen, to see what the budget information is, because we obviously heard about The Mandalorian. It was immediately one of the most expensively made TV shows in history, going right up with the Game of Thrones sort of a style. I think it was $100 million or something for 10 episodes. I expect these to be the exact same as TV shows. One thing I'll add, what do you actually make of that title? Because a lot of people were criticising the title. And just the graphic itself, it looked like something out of a Goosebumps book. I heard some.
Well, it actually reminded me of Hammer House of Horrors, that sort of font for the Multiverse of Madness part of it. It's very classic, very cliche for horror, if you like.
Just hitting home again, you're right, Stephen.
That's deliberate, that's deliberate on the director's part. But you're right there, John, but I'm looking forward to it. But listen, that brings us to the end of part 1 of MBE Heroes. We will be back with obviously a second upload for part 2, where we'll be discussing the rest of Phase 4 slate and obviously that news on Endgame and how it's done box office wise. So we'll be back
about that
shortly.